Welcome to A Girl's Guide To, the podcast designed to help generations of women enhance their minds, love their bodies, and heal their souls. I'm your host, Michaela, a girl navigating life and helping you do the same. I am so happy and grateful that you are here. Let's dive in. Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of A Girl's Guide To, and happy Friday. Let's get into this chat because I'm ready to hurt your feelings. Like, in the best way possible, though, because I love you and want to see you grow and be the best person that you possibly can be in this lifetime. Okay, let's just make sure that we're on the same page there because it's always all from love. And another thing, too, with my episodes that I'm just kind of realizing right now, take what aligns with you, leave what doesn't. And I definitely hope that you challenge your perspectives with the perspectives I bring to the table. I love doing that in my own life. I love looking at other people's perspectives and being like, I never thought of it that way. Let me see if that fits into my lifestyle. Let me see if that aligns with me. So I hope that you're challenging yourself when listening to a new perspective, but I also hope that if we have different opinions, that we just respect each other and we just take what aligns and leave what doesn't. Okay. So I start the conversation with that because I do think I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. um, because people are just living miserably for no fucking reason. Okay. And that's not me being ignorant to trauma and to circumstances that are not ideal and to just mental health, right? I am so aware of it all. I've experienced a lot of different traumas myself, but here's the thing. It's your choice to fall victim or to rise above from any sort of trauma, whether it's a past trauma, a present trauma, maybe trauma's too big of a word, but it is your job to have a good perspective on your life and the things that are happening to you currently. Now, I got to collect my thoughts here. I just see a lot of people, and I don't want to exclude myself from this because the reason why I can speak on all of these topics is because I too go through these things and I have these mental shifts and these kind of wake up calls, which is why I then sit here and tell you, hey, this is what I'm learning. This is what I'm going through. And I just know from my own personal experience that having a positive perspective on life has allowed me to live with much more peace and happiness and has introduced wonderful opportunities into my life because the law of attraction is real, right? And that's something that we could dive into a whole episode in itself. But this episode is here to challenge your perspective, just your overall perspective on life, because I think that we just make it out to be harder than it really is. And we make situations worse for ourselves than we really need to because we're kind of spoiled in a way. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for. But for example, my I don't know, she might get mad at me for saying this, but I don't even think she listens, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. My mom recently started going back to school, which is so exciting, and I'm so happy for her. You know, she graduated high school, did a semester at college, and then dropped out, and shortly after started a family. So it's wonderful to see her be able to have the time now where all her children are grown and she can pour into herself in a way that she wants. So anyway, she's started school. Remember that I said she wants this, okay? Because she chose this. She chose to go back to school to get a certificate in alcohol and drug, like substance abuse, as she is a recovering addict herself and wants to help others. So fucking cool, right? She takes a few classes, 3 classes, and she's got a few different assignments now. She like just started, so things are starting to kind of, you know, not pile up, but she's starting to get work now, right? The intro phase is over. And she was saying to me, "Oh, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do this and I'm just kind of overwhelmed. I'm kind of stressed." And I, my family, I don't know, they probably love me and hate me for it because I am so not a yes man. Like, don't come to me complaining about something or venting to me. Like, and that's not to say I'm going to be like, you're crying in my arms and I'm like, let's go, girl, wipe those tears off your face. Like, I'm not saying that, but I'm not the type of person to kind of feed into your negative emotion if I don't agree with it, or any emotion if I don't agree with it. So she's expressing that she's stressed, she's overwhelmed. Valid. And I love to tell people or even myself like, "Hey, you have the right to feel that way and to be looking at it in that perspective. Like that's your right. If that's how you want to do it, go for it." I said, "But can I give you a new perspective? Can I challenge the perspective you have?" And I don't necessarily know if I asked her that, but I definitely have done that in the past, more recently for sure. But asking people if it's okay for me to share my perspective and my opinion rather than just unprovokingly giving it. Is that a word? Unprovokingly? I don't know, but rather than just being like, "Well, here's my opinion that you didn't ask for," I'm going to be like, "Hey, I have some advice or some sort of perspective on this that I think could be beneficial. Would you be open to hearing it?" Everybody that I've asked that has said yes, so that's super cool. But just a side note there, for having better conversations with people, like ask if it's cool to give your perspective. Anyway, I told her, totally valid that you're stressed and you're overwhelmed. You haven't been to school in what, 30 years? Like, yeah, it's been a long time. And it's so new to you. I'm saying all of these things to her, right? I said, "But I want you to be excited about this because you were. You were excited about it when you started. You chose to do this, right? This is not something you have to do. It's something that you get to do, something that people all around the world would love to be able to do. How many people come to America to get an education because they can't get it in other countries, or just people who spend their whole lives working to get an education that they could afford, right? So to be able to have the opportunity that not everybody else has, that is a gift. It is a privilege, and it's something that you wanted. So don't make this hard on yourself. She's going to a community college, so the assignments are fairly simple. They're all very like opinion based. And the what's the word? Program is designed to help people of all different backgrounds and all different levels pass the program. They want you to succeed there. And I told her that. I said, "They want you to succeed. It's not going to be that hard." I said, "You just need to pace yourself. You need to get a schedule under control, right? Like, let's kind of backtrack here, right? Like, you're at the overwhelmed, stressed out, oh my God, I'm gonna shit my pants, don't know what's going on, but you haven't done anything prior to try to set yourself up for success. So let's backtrack and go back and first have this mindset shift. Have this shift of that you get to do it, not that you have to do it. And you can take that and adopt that to any circumstance in your life. And I do it with everything now. And I'm talking everything. It is the best way to practice gratitude and to practice having a more positive perspective on even the stupidest things, like pumping gas. Like, oh, damn, it's cold out. I have to go pump gas. I get to pump this gas, bitch. I get to have the money and have the car that's gonna take me to wherever I get to go. I get to pump this gas. So it might be fucking cold. I might be shivering out there, but I'm damn grateful that I get to pump this gas. And I can feel cold and angry that it's cold and, whatever, but I'm still gonna remember that I'm blessed for that moment. Okay, so having a perspective change is not necessarily invalidating your feelings. It's just about recognizing the gift that you have in the moment. You can still be pissed or you can still be stressed or overwhelmed, but as you're working through those feelings, the way you're going to get through those feelings is by replacing it with gratitude. So that's the first thing. Switching, I have to do this, to I get to do this. And another one that I love is this is happening to me versus this is happening for me. And this is a great one to use in more traumatic situations, more unideal circumstances. Maybe somebody scammed you. That's kind of intense, but like, I don't know. It could be anything that's just not ideal, that is unexpected, that like you feel like the world is just against you and you're getting attacked. This is happening to me. Oh my gosh, why is this happening to me? I can't believe this is happening to me. Right. And just kind of wallowing in that. I, once again, understand when unexpected circumstances hit or something is just real messed up and it hits you like a ton of bricks. Cry it out, baby. Sob. Feel it out. Like, don't push the feelings away and be like, well, I have to be positive. There's definitely a toxicity to positivity that I'm highly aware of. And I'm not the one to say, be positive all the time, find the positivity in everything. I mean, I think that you can over time. I think that this saying right here, this is happening to me versus happening for me, I think that's the perfect example of that. Something that is really sucky can be a positive over time. I think anything in my experience that I've looked at as shitty, like my two previous breakups, or when my mom was still drinking and things were not great at home, or I got fired, or I'm taken it back even further, like failed a test in school, right? Like just all those things you kind of look past, you look back on in your past and you think like, wow, in those moments I was thinking, why is this all happening to me? But now I look at as, damn, I'm so glad all that shit happened for me. I'm so glad because it led me to where I need to be today. So another kind of adjustment in your words that I challenge you to have. And that's really how you're going to have this perspective shift. It's how you do any of the work, really. Last week, I talked about money mindset and how you just have to kind of catch yourself in the act when you're having these thoughts or when you're saying these words. And that's the exact same thing about your perspective. When you start saying, oh, this is happening to me, or oh, I have to do this, or you just start complaining, like kind of take yourself out of the jar so you can read the label, okay? Love that saying from Rob Dial. He says, when you're in the jar, you can't read the label. So you need to kind of take yourself out of your own body, look at yourself from an outside perspective and be like, are these thoughts that I'm having, are these words that I'm saying, are they really ideal for me to be having right now? Are they really serving me in a good way? Are they actually going to help me get out of this situation? Because that's another thing too. It's like when we are upset, when we are feeling, oh, this is happening to me, or oh, I have to do this, the negative thoughts and words, that's not fueling the circumstance in a positive way. If anything, you'd want to find something that's going to make that situation somewhat doable. Somewhat doable is not the word that I'm looking for. I can't figure out what I'm trying to say here, but essentially just make it a better experience for yourself. If you're already thinking, ugh, I have to do this, or ugh, why is this happening to me? Why not challenge yourself to have a more positive perspective so that the experience or the circumstance, whatever it may be, can be more enjoyable, or at least a little bit more enjoyable? It's just like if you don't like grocery shopping and you have to go grocery shopping. Instead, make it a little bit more enjoyable for yourself by saying, I get to do this. This is a freedom and a luxury that I have. And then what are some other things that you can incorporate to make it fun for yourself? Maybe you can wear headphones to the grocery store and listen to your favorite music or a podcast. Or maybe you can make sure you have a super detailed list. So when you get in there, you grab everything you need and you get out. You don't spend any more time in there than you need. Just different things like that. It's just all about perspective. And I'm sorry to say, but a lot of the reasons that you're struggling, or a lot of the areas in your life that you're not happy with, or that seem to just be filled with negativity, it has a lot to do with the energy that you are putting out. It has a lot to do with the way that you look at those different things in your life. Anyway, not sure what I was saying, where I was going with that. I've been sitting here in silence trying to remember. So, we're just going to end it with this. Perspective is power. You can choose to look at something with a positive perspective, or you can choose to look at it with a negative perspective. It's up to you. And just know that whichever one you choose, the results of that choice, well, that is now your responsibility to navigate. That's a direct correlation of the decision you made in your mind when you said, I'm going to think about this in a positive way, or I'm going to think about this in a negative way. And I really believe that if you have this shift and you challenge yourself to look at things with more positive perspectives, while of course accepting the not so great feelings sometimes, that you will naturally attract more positive outcomes, because that's the law of attraction, baby. And if it's been happening that way for the negative thoughts, then it can happen with positive thoughts as well, right? Don't forget that. People think the law of attraction is just for positivity. It's not. It goes the same way for negativity too. So if you have a really negative perspective on life and all the things in it, maybe that's why your life is kind of sucky. Maybe that's why you're kind of miserable, okay? And that's the part that might hurt your feelings. So we're just going to leave it at that. Take some accountability and remember that there is so much power in your perspective. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think I have a little thing of spit on my lip. Hopefully that doesn't show on the camera, but anyway. As always, I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate if you can share this episode or show the show any love, as it helps us to grow and reach more people, which is, of course, the goal. And I'm so grateful that you're here and so grateful to be sharing these messages and very excited for what February is bringing. That was probably the longest run on sentence ever. English teachers, don't come for me. Okay, I love you. Bye.